Hey YouTube, mksvnt from Webster, Massachusetts. How are you? I just got done watching a film about bombing for peace. It was on YouTube. Extremely disturbing. Children coming out of hospitals, people videotaping from their street, their cell phones, what's going on above their head. Missiles going off, people screaming, people running, people panicking. Just very disturbing stuff. Kids in cots, their ass blown out. Yeah. Take your camera and go outside, try to videotape some missiles going over your head. It ain't gonna happen. It doesn't happen here. It happens over there. And why? Can anybody give me a clear answer on why? Oh, I got my theories, you know. Big banks, globalists, neo-fascists. You can call them a bunch of different things. It's evil. You know, my grandfather said one time, he was a World War II vet. He said, you know, 9 times out of 10 when somebody accuses you of something, they're guilty of doing it. So I've been remembering that for a while, and it's gotten me into some issues with people sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, the person that's accusing you of it is the person that's doing it. We accused bin Laden of coming over here and not liking us for our freedom. Makes no sense. But we picked him to go against Taliban. When we go against the Taliban, we take over their area of occupation. And what were they doing over there? They were burning the drug fields. They were doing a lot of other stuff too, but they were taking care of that drug problem, the heroin problem that's all over the globe. Al-Qaeda was supposed to be over there with them. So what we do, we get there, we take over, we beat them up, kick them back out of back into the mountains, make them live like rats, and we take over the drug trade. Yeah. You don't believe me? Go look it up. There's plenty of documentation for it. Now, I'm sure you'd probably just like to sit back and listen to the good news. Alice in Wonderland stuff. Issue is, it's not that way. Alright, so we're in Afghanistan for 10 years. We're beating them up pretty bad, huh? 10 rounds. We were in Iraq for what, 7? 8? We're not out of there yet. We are not out of there. They're claiming all our troops left. I don't believe that for a minute. We've got way too many contractors over there. Contractors, meaning people that have contracts with the United States government. Why don't you look at it? Some of those contracts. Some of them are bulldozers, some of them are carpenters, some of them are nurses, some of them are food banks, some of them are this, but a lot of them, a good majority of them, is mercenary contractors, soldier of fortunes. Even our troops come back, say, hey, you know what, it ain't us that's doing all this dirty shit. It's those contractors, and we get blamed for it. Alright, so let's get back to this video. The video here brought me to a state of mind where these things are not normal. This is not with the flow of the universe and all that, you know. stuff that I see all the time on YouTube and Rumorville News, and you know, maybe there is something to it. I don't know. I don't think I'm that enlightened to discern what's right and wrong in that area anyway. So I'm a free person. I believe that we should all believe what we want to believe, and we don't need a police state. And when I say police state, I don't mean police. I mean a policing state. I'm talking about undercover, TSA, frisk you up and down, armed soldiers at the Social Security office, NDAA, you know, National Defense Authorization Act. What are they authorizing for the national defense? Have you guys ever bothered to even wonder about that? Well, if you're not, you're probably not going to hear what I'm going to say. So I'll just leave you to getting it on your own. The information's there. 1031 and 1032 in that bill says that our government can take anybody they deem a political dissident, anybody that's anti-government or communicating with other anti-government organizations, to be picked up, detained, without a trial or jury for an indefinite amount of time. Indefinite detention. For just not agreeing with what the government likes. I don't know how much time I have. I think it's 15 minutes, so I have 7 now. Well, in the order of things coming up, you can expect more intrusions on your liberty, your way of life, regulations on what you can do for work, what courses you have to take, what licenses you have to have. See what happens with the licenses. You gotta have a license to scrape lead paint. You gotta have a license to practice law. You gotta have a license to be a doctor. You gotta have a license to drive. You gotta have a license to be married. You gotta have a license for a dog. You gotta have a license for this. A license for that. Well, all those license fees, and they justify, you know, $400 or $500 for a lead certificate. $50 for a license, 50 to drive, $50 for a marriage license. Where do you think all that money's going? Well, it's a way of getting more and more and more of your money, and just putting a label on it saying this is the good for the good of the people, that you get a license. Yeah, well, in some cases, yes, but in most cases, it's just bureaucracy. I'm digressing. Look, folks, Ron Paul stands for one thing: freedom. Remember, that's what we're supposed to be fighting for across the seas. Our freedom. Just kind of seems moronic to go admit the crap. To hell with it. I'm going to say admit the shit around me. I got stopped for speeding in a town not so far from here. It was a while ago. And when I went to court, I argued that you could see the speed limit up the street. I wasn't speeding. When does the speed limit become in effect? When you see it or when you pass it? The judge didn't want to answer me, so he asked me flat out, was I going over the speed limit? I said, I'm not sure what the speed limit was, so I can't really answer you. He says, how fast were you going in your car? I said, 45. He says, well, you were over the speed limits. You know, he slapped me with a $75 fine. Told me I had to pay it in 3 months or something. So I wanted to appeal, so I had to go back in the office and fill out an appeal. And the lady informed me that if I wanted to fill out an appeal form, I had to pay $25. $25 to appeal a court case that I'm in doesn't make sense to me. So I asked her, why do I have to pay $25 to appeal a court case? It's my right. As a United States citizen, I'm allowed to appeal a court case. Well, apparently now it costs you. The lady says that don't blame me, don't blame us, blame the governor. And at the time it was Mitt Romney. Just another little way to get your money. So he's for big corporation. He's got lobby people hanging out his trousers. This guy's got so much of it up him, you know, and he'll cover his butt. He'll say, "Oh, there's nobody running my campaign," but he'll have advisors, he'll have observers from those lobbies, and they'll give him money if they can work with him. And if he's willing to work with them, those guys have no issues with giving him a couple million, because he can fix the situation to benefit those companies very easily, sort of like Solandra, Obama. But it goes like on the town levels. But this guy is dirty, okay? So then you got the other one, Santorum, another one. All you got to do is look this stuff up. It's all able to be found. You just got to look for it. YouTube and a couple of the websites. I'm going to drop you a line on Infowars.com. I know the guy's a little bit eccentric. Alex Jones is a little bit loud, but it's his business. He's supposed to be that way. But the information that he gives out, the credible guests he has on that show, are really informative. And if you took a little bit of time to just think about what you see around you, the things that are going on, you would probably understand what they're talking about on that radio station, because they make more sense than the media is explaining global warming. Our cars are running too hot, too rich, hairspray. Give me a freaking break. Most of the world doesn't even have cars. So when you hear the global climate change, this and that, I believe it's more probably from the sun's solar cycles. I don't think it's man-made. I think it's just another excuse for them to wrap their tiny little hands around our fat throats. I got 13 minutes left. Look, I'm not going to make this a long one. I just want to tell people, get a hold of some information. Find something that you're very interested in. Find a passion. And then investigate it and see how it was brought to light in the organized way. Then you follow the money and see who's sponsoring it. Women's Lib. The Rockefellers gave a bunch of money to the Women's Lib organizations because they wanted to double the workforce and get more taxes. Makes sense, right? Create the problem, get a reaction, offer a solution. It's an easy way to guide people where you want to go. And we've been getting it done to us for years. Alright. I'm going to see how this came out. Have a good day, everybody. Remember, we all bleed red. Black, white, Hispanic, Hindu, whatever. We all bleed red. We all love our children. Start remembering that first and foremost. When you walk down the street and you see somebody that's limping, that's elderly, pick them up. Give them a ride. We could all use more of that in this world. Alright, I'm out. Have a good day.